Hello YouTube, Sam here from youtube.com/onlivegamer for the new Boston. And in this tutorial we're going to be continuing our calculator. Now if you don't know what you're looking at right now, then you probably need to move back a couple tutorials to see what's going on. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, like I was saying in the last tutorial, what if the person adds two numbers and they get their answer and they just want to keep adding numbers to it? Well, the way we can do this is by creating a global boolean. So we'll just go ahead and type private is adding as boolean, and we'll go ahead and set it equal to false. So what this is going to do is going to check and see if they're continuing adding to their answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another and right here. So and is adding equals false. Then go ahead and do this stuff. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add an else if. Go ahead and take this then out. Okay, so we're gonna add an else if to see if they are continually adding. So else if is adding, then now by using just is adding, so it's basically saying else if true then. So if is adding is true, then do this. You don't have to add something to check the value. You don't have to say else if is adding equals true. You can just do else if is adding. So now what we're going to do is we're going to call add again. So we'll just type, or we'll declare another variable. So dim ants as double, and we'll set it equal to add, and then we will ctype text num1 dot text to a double, and then we'll just go ahead and get the text from the answer field. So text answer dot text, and we want to convert that to a double. Now what we're going to do is text answer dot text is going to be equal to answer dot toString, and we'll go ahead and set this one to dot toString too. Okay, so now if we go ahead and run this, you're going to see that it has first number and second number and answer. So if we type in a first number, 23 plus 10, and click add, we've got 33. Now we can add 3 to this. And you can see that we get the value 13. Now, the way that we can fix this is by setting is adding equal to false, equal to true whenever they do their first addition. So now if we run this again, you can see that we've got first number 23, second number 10, we can add, we get 33, and if we add 3 to that, we get 36, and we can just keep on adding stuff to our final answer, and we can clear that out when we want to. Okay, so this is fairly simple code. It may not be the most efficient or the best way to do it, but for beginners, this is very easy to understand and you can get good results from it. So now what we're going to do is do the same thing for subtraction. So we can just come down here and I'll start it off for you, and what I want you guys to do is go ahead and do it for yourself without having to watch the tutorial. So we'll go ahead and start off with if text num1 dot text dot length does not equal 0, and text num2 dot text dot length does not equal 0. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we'll create another boolean variable. So private is subtracting as boolean, and we'll go ahead and set that equal to false. And then and is subtracting is equal to false, then go ahead and do something. So that should give you guys a good start. And now, one thing that I want to tell you is that it will always, it won't revert back to the way it's supposed to be if we click clear in this. And now what we need to do is go ahead and find our button clear, which should be right down here. So whenever they clear, we're just going to go ahead and call the sub revert boolean. So we'll just type revert bool, and now you can see that we're going to get an error because we didn't create this. So we'll just go ahead and create the revert bool sub. So private sub revert bool. We don't need any arguments, and so we'll set is adding equal to false, is subtracting equals false. So what this is going to do is, if any of these are equal to true, then it's going to go ahead and set them equal to false so that they can use this part right here. Now if we don't reset those back to false once we do it, this part of the if statement will not run, because is adding will be true for the rest of the time that we run the program. So if we go ahead and run this, type in our first number, second number, we can add, and we can keep adding, and then when we click clear, it will let us use both of these again. So go ahead and do the button subtract click. You can even move on to the other buttons. I'll be going through the subtract real quick in the next tutorial, just in case you couldn't figure it out, and then I'll do the rest of the buttons. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next tutorial.